Raw, a 2016 beautiful coming-of-age story about family bonding and a young woman finding her true self. Welcome back to the Cult of Film. We're your hosts, Coleman Yeti and Johnny Mulligans. John couldn't join us tonight because after making us watch this movie, we ate him.
Yeah.
That's what's left of him behind me, and that will be my dinner tonight.
Thank God I live on the opposite coast.
Oh, Johnny, how are you feeling tonight? Pretty full?
Yeah, I'm satiated. Went and had
Full
a
of
nice,
John.
nice little seared, hamstring upstairs.
He was delicious.
Just a fair warning to anybody, if you do watch this movie, it's Dunning's fault. That's why.
So tell me, Johnny, what is Sisterhood of the Traveling Fine Young Cannibals about?
This is about a would-be veterinarian student going off to veterinary college, where it seems like at least the first year is like rush week, and there's a lot of like hazing, and all the students live together in the same dorm, and I don't know. I guess this is how they do it in France. Maybe that's a horrible stereotype. It probably is. I don't know. It's just the portrayals of welcome to your freshman year of veterinary school. Here's some red paint. Oh, by the way, you're trying to sleep? No. Everybody gets up and out in their pajamas and whatever they happen to be wearing. You're going to a rave. You have to go in the elevator to the basement and crawl through the boiler room. It was an interesting, weird, odd scene. The whole premise is weird. It's very indie film in style. Like, I don't know what the budget was behind this one, but it felt like an independent type film. They have a lot of visual kind of scenes where they're focusing on specific things, or mundane activities become like the centerpiece for like 10 seconds of this, like, at a time. Like, they're focusing on her smoking a cigarette, or being kind of just staring at this one little thing or whatever it is. It's like moments like that. So it had that indie feel to it, and like in the very beginning, the mother goes nuts because this girl never eats meat. She's never had meat. She's never supposed to eat meat, and apparently, eating meat of any kind was a trigger for some horrible disease that she has.
Called cannibalism.
Yes. The disease of cannibalism that apparently manifests in hives. An insatiable need to eat things that you've never had before.
As I stated in the beginning, I had to rewatch it to like kind of put some of the pieces together. It is a messed up horror movie where this girl basically slowly descends into cannibalism, only to find out that her sister is also a cannibal. Through her transformation into cannibalism, she also transforms from like bookworm nerd teacher's pet to like finding her sexuality and like really finding herself and being able to let loose. So there was like a whole transformative piece of this movie, but she had to find it through eating people.
What does people eating do for you? There's two parallels going on. It's like as she's kind of slowly working her way into stealing a cafeteria burger, and then she's digging through the fridge for raw chicken meat, and it's just like the slow descent into madness. And then she's the whole personality transformation where she's dancing in front of the mirror and she starts making out with the mirror. Okay, sure, all right.
Right, to some Parisian hip hop, which I'm now going to find because it sounded cool. But was basically horror porn soundtrack lyrics.
It was the I had, so because it's a French film, I went, and I don't speak French, so obviously I put the English subtitles in. So the lyrics to that song was all, yeah, is all these crude like kind of take charge of your womanhood kind of thing. I almost feel like there was missed opportunity here, like that scene where she's dancing in front of the mirror. I just wanted them to play something like I don't know who sings it. She's a man-eater, but the modern version, like they like really jazzed it up with kind of dance club soundtracks, and yeah, that should have been somewhere in the movie. I think they missed that opportunity. But then they were French, so they were probably like, we don't want that one. That would be too tacky. We're not going that route.
I mean, they were really really graphic lyrics about dead bodies and I don't need no man and titty this, and I mean they were really graphic. So yeah. I think that they did the movie justice. I don't know that Maneater would have played quite the same as that. I really thought you were going to say Celine Dion.
Yeah, or like Sarah McLachlan or something like that.
There you go.
No, that would be, if they were going to make this for an American audience, yeah, that would have been the song. But I think what they did was this was done in a way that they weren't building this movie for an American audience. The shots, the everything about makeup and costume, they were very like, whatever you feel like wearing, bring it. Think of your college days. All these people, what did you do in college? And how did you it was all really, it almost felt like normalized. Like the way things are portrayed here, nothing was risque. It was just, oh, somebody's walking through my dorm half naked. And everyone's like, ciao. That was like, it wasn't, there was nothing, the way they treated it as just matter of fact. And
I think that's a lot of people's college experience, though.
Well, I think as far as
hazing and the sexuality and all of that.
I'm just talking like as far as the film, it felt like the portrayal in the film. It felt like it was that was more about, this is just matter of fact. This is just happening. Nobody's making a scene about it. Nobody cares. It's just the way it is. And that was just, it felt different. Like it didn't feel like they were making a risque thing. It was just happening. So that was interesting to see that, the way they presented that. And then as far as college experience, I didn't have that kind of college experience for sure. I was definitely a shut-in. I definitely was not going to raving parties and anywhere near cool enough to be showing up to places like these people were showing up to. So I can't relate personally.
Well, I think that's the experience a lot of people have. Like her opening the door to, her roommate getting blown right there, right in front of him. I have had friends that have stories much like that, and I have one like that too. I wasn't in college, but just in your early 20s, I came home one day, opened the door, the opening of the door, the air pushed my roommate's door open, and I see him behind a girl, and both their heads turn around, and it just, you're at an age where it's kind of expected, so nothing was said. He just shut the door and continued on.
Yeah, but you didn't just. I was just like, that scene. It was like, there it is. There it is. The door closes and she's just standing there staring at the door. And just and they held that shot. So I'm like, Wait, she's not gonna walk away?
Well, no, because the only difference is he wasn't gay and I wasn't in love with him. She was in love with the main character, or with the roommate in here.
I thought she was just wanted to eat him.
No, she I think really got her wires crossed in here because she fell in love with him, but she just had that urge to eat. So when like he finally took her virginity, yeah, she kept trying to bite him because like anytime she got close to a person, that's what she wanted. She wanted to bite. But they had that whole little spat in class where she was jealous of her sister, and there was a couple times through the movie where she was jealous of her sister, and that's because she was actually kind of in love with the guy. Which is why he kept pointing out that he's gay. Now the sister, on the other hand,
she just wanted to eat him.
And so hung out with him, until she did. By the way, everyone, spoilers, but you should probably still go watch this movie because even anything we can say will not even touch what actually happens in the movie.
No, there's a whole vibe here, and it's definitely I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Like, this is the way they presented human cannibalism in this movie was, I think, done well. I think it was in terms of like execution, I was okay with this movie. I like the way it pulled all together. It was funny how the scene where she kicks her sister and the scissors take off her finger.
Quoi? Quoi? Qu'est-ce que t'as fait?
And she's knocked out on the floor and she picks up the finger and she's looking at it. I'm like, no, she's got to pull it together. She's just really. That's no McRib, but okay.
No, I will say my first time through, like, I knew it was coming. I knew she was gonna eat that finger, but that scene, my first time through, disturbed me more than anything else I've seen in a movie in a while. I think just in how much she was like reveling in eating the finger. Like Neon Demon, you got the eyeball scene right, and that was just ridiculous to me. I was like cheering, but this, it was such a slow build up to it, and like just this hunger, and again, I knew it was coming, but just the first tasting the blood. And then just ravenously devouring it.
But she worked her way into it. She tasted this. She first she licked, then she tasted, she nibbled. She's like going. Her sister wakes up and is like,
she's cleaning the bone, like you would a frickin' hot wing. She's like cleaning the meat off the bone, and I just went, oh god.
It was great. It was just. As far as horror films go, it's like the Monster Within kind of horror film. Other thing they did with this movie is they brought in these random interactions with just like almost like non-player characters just happened to be people she ran into. The conversation she had with the nurse when she first gets that ointment because her skin's starting to peel off, because apparently that's a sign that you've gone to cannibalism. And then when she's trying to, one of the grossest scenes was the hairball. God help me.
Oh yeah,
that was. I'm like, how much of it is? How much hair does she eat? Who does she eat?
Right.
Jesus,
she was just chewing on it.
How did she chew all of her split ends off? And that's what you get, this one long, stringy, gaggy hairball. And then she gets out of the toilet and is at the sink, and then the girl that was in the stall next to her shows up. Was like, if you use two fingers, it comes up faster.
Which she utilized later. She tried it.
I mean, advice. The more you know. But the fact that just the way that came in as just this random yeah, if you just use 2 fingers, it'll come up faster. She leaves. They stay in the bathroom with the camera with that scene, and there she is with this like weird psychopath smile. She's just in the mirror. Like, it's not. You're not right.
And the nurse scene, the only thing I can figure for the nurse scene was her trying to establish the fact that she thinks she's normal. You know, because that was kind of a part before she fully transitioned and let go, was like the nurse talks about being normal and asks her if she thinks she's normal, and then she asks her sister, the knockoff Fairuza Balk, if she thinks she's normal or if she's weird, and the sister's like, no, I think you're fine. But that takes me back to the finger scene, and when they go to the hospital, I'm sitting there wondering, why isn't the sister more upset? You know, and that was the beginning of leading into the sister's
that the
same
sister's
problem.
accountable. Oh well, they also hint at that when she goes snooping through the sister's medicine cabinet and finds the exact same skin treatment ointment. So that little connection right there is kind of like, oh, she's got the same condition I have, and that's. They don't, that's, I think that's it. They show you that scene and then they expect you to, like, just file that away. And that leads me to wonder if perhaps there's, the nurse happens to also be a cannibal in that mix and just sort of, no, seriously, it's like, maybe it's like a whole tribe. And it's this condition that is passed down from generation to generation of this cannibal tribe in France.
I mean, we got the genetic part handed down in the ending, but we'll get into that in a bit. Because that was also, again, I had to rewatch this to get some of the stuff. There was a few things I didn't quite get. There was definitely some imagery they put in there with the horse, and I was really just trying to figure out how, like, you know, they have the horse all tied up and lifted up in ORs or something. And then later they've got the horse just running, you know, with a dark background on the treadmill. And there's definitely some sort of imagery that they were going for, but I was really trying to figure out how to connect it.
Yeah, all I can think of is this whole veterinarian school is a backdrop that provides, like, cover for people who may be cannibals. Like, maybe they need nourishment, and they can't always get their, humanos fix. So they gotta get it where they can, and they have to, like, go to alternative sources, and they need it fresh. So naturally, the dissection lab at the veterinary school clearly has lots of tasty snacks hanging out, and maybe horse and cow were close enough.
Well, everyone else seemed pretty disturbed by their behavior. It seemed to take them a while to catch on. Like, she bit the guy's lip off, and he's just like, she's psycho! But then nothing happens to her afterwards.
Well, maybe that was something, maybe that was still normal-ish? Like,
to bite
that,
someone's lip off?
Hey, you know what? I maybe that's just a thing. Where I'm not used to that. I mean, they did the whole whatever version of 7 Minutes of Heaven that was covered in paint. Not my college experience. I definitely did not get thrown in a closet covered in paint.
Well, no, that part may be a little far-fetched.
With the expectation of, I almost, like, the whole thing with that whole process, and all the people facilitating us, like, are they being taken hostage? Are these terrorists? No, they're RAs. Okay. That adds up.
Oh, it was clear hazing.
Obviously hazing. But I just... Oh my god. Dunning, I swear to God.
For those of you not in the know, Dunning is John, the host, who is gone now. I definitely just got that the cannibal stuff just ran through their family. You know, it took a while for it to come out to everyone else. Obviously, it connected the sisters. They have that fight in the end where they're just biting pieces off each other. And that's kind of the outside of biting the lip off, and still nothing has happened to this girl.
It's like they're taking the Black Knight scene way too far.
Come back here and take what's coming to you! I'll bite your legs off!
You know, something else I was wondering about, and there's always plot holes in movies, whatever, but she just goes and like eats a guy's brain. The sister crashes a car, and both people die. And this is how she can let her sister know that they're cannibals. And she goes, I did it for you. And then just starts eating the guy's brain. Wouldn't the cops find human teeth marks in the brain and start wondering what's going on? Particularly if she'd done this before.
That's a question for the coroner, and maybe the coroner's in on it. They gotta do the autopsy. And you know, these cannibals are going to find their ways into professions. They're going to allow them to do the whole thing. Remember the Neon Demon? What's her face? Did the makeup in the morgue? Uh-huh. That's right. There's a clan. I'm telling you, there's a tribe of them. One of them's a nurse. They work in medical. They work in veterinary schools. That's got to be a thing. Like, they work their way into the fields that allow them to do that. And there's obviously a cannibal in the coroner's office doing the autopsies and just brushes it right under the rug. It's like, nah, there's no teeth marks. It's fine. Everything's fine. They could have been mine. Hey, whatever.
But there's only a few of them in on it?
Oh, no. It's just a system. It's not that they're in on it. It's just that when there's teeth marks on a car crash victim that shouldn't have been anywhere near a human's mouth, the guy doing the autopsy, you know, puts the pieces together. It's like, I used to do that in college too. Whatevs.
Well, it does make sense at the end why the mom was so upset when she had that one piece of meat. Mm-hmm. And she had that one meatball in the beginning, and the mom like freaked out,
lost her mind.
Yeah,
she went and got the manager.
That's right. She was total Karen on that. Cannibal Karen.
That's right.
Watch out for the sequel.
Don't mess with Cannibal Karen.
One thing, I'm sober, which is great.
She will eat your face off.
Yeah, but it made sense, and they tied it all up in the end when it was like, because it was that rabbit kidney that made her, you know, want to eat all of the meat. And then when the dad, you know, tells the daughter at the end, like, it's not your fault, you know, your mom was crazy and said I was the only one that would understand, then shows his chest just full of bite marks taken out of him.
I know you'll find the solution. It's like, thanks, Dad.
Yeah. Now, is mom still a cannibal, or is that why she's just so strongly vegetarian?
I would have to go back to that scene and check and see if there were any fresh bites on his chest. That would tell you. Like, a lot of it's all scars and, like, mangled. And, you know, his general practitioner must be in on it, too. Okay, yeah. That's all there is to it. Like, when you have these... This is a movie where they were going through it, and somebody brought up this... Well, isn't that a plot hole? No, man. Coroner's one of the cannibals. We'll just hint at it with the nurse, and people will put the rest together. Obviously, this part of France has tons of cannibals. And they're all in on it. And they don't talk. They just know. They just know. When a guy shows up half-eaten for his, you know, annual checkup, it's just like, oh, I see the missus got a hold of your shoulder there. How you feeling? You still got good full range of motion? Okay, good. You're fine. Walk it off. You'll be fine. Yeah, that's what's happening. There. I just fixed all your...
theory.
I did not
think about that at all, but...
Now I want to know what part of France it's happened in and never go there.
I mean, it's definitely a real place. There's definitely a spot in France where the vets party like frat kids, apparently. Because that's what I imagine happening in vet school. Yeah, every night. And, maybe a third of them are cannibals in positions of power, so they can all just cover up each other's discretions and eating of people.
Just convenient cases of opportunity just happens to show up. So all the all the EMTs, because when there's like a giant pile up on the highway or a tour bus turns over, that's like Thanksgiving,
Oh yeah. Well, the car crash thing, how many times did she try that?
They show it 3 times. They show it in the very beginning, but you don't really get to see if it's the younger or older sister. Then they do the second one where I think the second time is the older sister, like, I'm showing you how to hunt.
Yeah.
Here, have some brains. And then I think, it happens a third time? Does she go and, like, cause a crash herself?
No, she doesn't cause a crash herself. There is a crash on the highway, and I just put pieces together here. So there's a crash on the highway, and she sees a body on a stretcher, and she and Adrian are riding the bus. And as they go by, she shows extreme interest in the body on the gurney, and that must have been how the movie opened, when the sister wrecked a car, ate the person, and then they picked that person up. So then when she did it later, it's just her doing it again. It is interesting. There's definitely pieces of this you have to put together. And again, it took me like a rewatching a couple times to actually start putting all of the pieces together outside of weird shots of horses and shit.
At least the horse didn't get partitioned off into a dozen pieces.
Yeah, but it made more sense in that. Like, in the cell, at least, it was like a part of this guy's brain. Here they just have this horse running.
This is what we
symbolize something. I just don't know what.
It's like
probably that the whole town is cannibals.
We're running on horse meat. Yay!
Raw. Tell me about your feelings, Johnny.
How do I feel? I felt strange about this movie. I felt okay about this movie. It was like, I didn't loathe this movie. This movie was interesting. It was kind of like, it was a foreign piece. It was as far as horror goes, John's been really subjecting me to some heavy schlock in recent months. So, like, cheesy, canned kind of special effects, and even, I guess we've gone through some horrible digital effects too. This seemed like they worked with what they had, and they worked well with what they had. There was, I liked the way it was assembled. I liked the acting. There were some cheesy points, like they throw in plot points and almost like it was just kind of tossed in. But I can forgive that. That didn't bother me so much. The style was, I liked it. It was good. It was an interesting reveal to what the actual horror of the movie was. Dabs of gore, but a nice like balance of suspense, so you're like wondering what's going to happen next, kind of thing. I don't know. I like this. I like this movie. If you're into foreign flicks and you want to break from like the American style gore fest slasher picks, this is a nice break from that, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely didn't have the cheesiness and camp of some of the other stuff we've watched. And I appreciated that. And like I said, there's the one piece that, I was initially actually a little disturbed. Like, oh, that's uncomfortable to watch her enjoy this so much. And that was pretty well acted, eating that finger and letting the dog just lap up her sister's blood and lick her finger.
Take the fall.
Yeah. And then let the dog get put down for it.
Yeah, because the sister covered for it. They're just like, oh yeah, the dog ate it. Oh, he's had human flesh. No.
Yeah, gotta kill him. Which is even more fucked up because the dad probably knew.
Of course the dad knew. They had to keep it covered up.
Yeah, gotta cover up the cannibal daughters. So, would you recommend this to anybody?
Oh yeah, definitely. I would. I think if you're into like weird gore and horror style flicks of any kind, like I think this is worth a watch. Like it's especially to an. You know what? I definitely recommend this to someone who is typically an American viewer, used to American oriented type films. Like the big box office films, they are marketing specific to an audience, and they usually, if they know the US is their prime market, they're going to make sure they check out certain boxes. And this movie didn't care. Like, this movie didn't need to worry about that. They were doing their own thing, and they did it. They did their own thing, and they put the movie out, and I think that was refreshing. You know, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. If people are weirded out by gross things like eating a human finger, maybe that's not for them. But that's just a small piece of it. I think it was done well, and I'm happy to say this is worth giving a shot for just about anyone, except for people queasy on human finger eating.
Right. And it's interesting. Like I looked into the IMDb on these actors, and this is like the top thing that they've done. Almost all of them have been in
really
maybe 2 to 3 films, most of them, and this was like at the top of their list. So it's definitely small.
They're like, this is actual college film school, and these are actually brand new actors out of film school, pretty much,
with actual people parts. Before I get into my recommendation, one more part that was interesting to me is it was all real animals in this. That was a legit horse that they brought in and, you know, boosted up on the crane.
Strung by its hooves.
Yeah, and like open its mouth and stuff.
That's the whole intubating with, you know, that's interesting. The autopsy and all the like dissections must have been legit animals, and
I'm pretty sure that was a real cow that Fairuza Balk was shoulder deep in. When
I have a doubt. I feel like that might have been a prop. It seemed like there was not. I don't know if its movement looked like it might have been a prop, just because maybe the veterinary school didn't want an actor getting all up in there and not knowing what they were doing. Just a hunch.
Maybe they really went to veterinary school.
Maybe.
I don't know. Everyone watch the movie. Tell us what you think. Is it a real butthole or not? I would recommend this movie for anyone looking for a touchy, feel-good film about sisters really discovering who each other are and finding their commonality. It's very sweet, very touching. They really stand behind each other, even when there's the option to murder and eat the other one. They don't. They eat each other a little bit, but then they help each other out.
Just nibbles. It's just a bit, just a taste.
Right. It's just touching. They bond over it. They've eaten each other's flesh.
They describe how they taste to each other.
Right. It is. It's sweet. And then watching this girl come into her own. And again, it really has that piece of the story to it, like her coming into her own in just the most fucked up of ways. But I do recommend this for many people. I don't think you get the like the campy horror out of this. I think you get more gritty, but you don't get jump scare horror either. It's really just an interestingly balanced storyline with cannibalism.
Yeah, they ease you into it.
Yeah. So if that's something that interests you, you should go watch Raw.
Your how-to guide
on how to eat people.
To cannibalism in the French countryside.
That's right. It's got to be in the countryside. Can't do it in the city.
No.
It's hard to eat people's brains with, all kinds of people driving by, rush hour, looky-loos.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to make sure that there's no one around before you just start eating people in the middle of the road.
Yeah. That or know where all the good hidey spots are.
Yeah, that too. And with that, Johnny, where can everyone find you at?
Oh, gosh, you can find me somewhere on Twitter. I'm on Twitter. It's John at CMDR_Hamilton, because I'm a Magic the Gathering geek. But nobody talks to me there, so it's fine. And you can find me lurking around They Said We Said Cult of Film section here, and amongst the body parts of John that are left.
That's right. And you can find me at Coleman Yeti on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on the YouTube channel Cascade Backcountry, occasionally going on cool adventures and seeing cool stuff. And you can find me from here on out right here at the Cult of Film, because I, myself, and Johnny Mulligans are the new hosts. So, R.I.P. John.
R.I.P. You enjoy that foot.
I will. He was delicious.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.